Assalamualaikum and salam productive. I am Adib Kaman from Malaysia Productivity Corporation MPC, your host for today. Thank you for joining us in MPC Productivity Talk for the year 2023, live every Friday at 3 p.m. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a special guest speaker joining us that will talk about implementing sustainability practices will elevate competitiveness logistic industry. Before we start, let me just introduce our speaker. Dato Seri Michael entrepreneur journey started from a very young age when he started exporting luxury pre-owned vehicles to Malaysia while studied in UK. He returned to Malaysia in 1996 to grow the family business into PKT Logistics Group. With his philosophy, dream of it, talk about it, plan for it, work on it, and get it, he led PKT to be a socially responsible company, providing niche logistics services with presence in Malaysia, South Korea, Taiwan, and most Asian countries. Now, I would like to invite our moderator, Puan Nazahiah Mohamad, to start the session. Pass to you, Puan Nazahiah.
Thank you, Adib. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. I'm Nazahiah Mohamad from Malaysia Productivity Corporation, MPC. It is a great pleasure to have our special guest with us here today, Dato Seri Dr. Michael Teo, Group Chief Executive and Managing Director, PKT Logistics Sdn Bhd and Champion Logistic Productivity Nexus. Ladies and gentlemen, my first question, Dato Seri, what is ESG and why is it important in the context of logistics?
Morning, Puan Nazah. Yeah, thanks for having me. And what is ESG? I think the industry all asking the same question because the words has keep on coming up in every conferences in Malaysia. Even our Prime Minister is talking about it. Our Minister for International Trade and Industry are talking about it. Ministry of Finance talking about it. Everyone is talking about it. So ESG is the new ISO, basically. Of course, everything started from the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. You know, we have 17 goals, and in the year 2015, all the United Nations members signed the pledge to achieve the 17 goals by the year 2030. So that is, we are pledging to do it. But in terms of corporate businesses, we have the responsibility because I think as a corporate, we employ a lot of people and we create impact to the society and environment. So we are the one that is more responsible to make sure that we can achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So then they created this ESG for corporate to measure ourselves. Where is our standing in terms of sustainable development goals. And they break it down for corporate purpose, E for environmental, S for social, and G for governance itself. So to us, this is a rating in a way that you measure where is our standing, and we also must make report to the public where are we in terms of environmental, social, and governance. So ESG to me is the new ISO. So I think for most of the companies, they need to embrace ESG because first, definitely you need to make profit. So that's why they call it the triple profit things. So after making profit, we talk about planet and people, right? You know the triple P's. But then again, those days, we just use triple P's. And then after that, we talk about United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And now they say, okay, we can have triple P's, but how do we measure that? So a lot of people can talk about it, but there's no measurements. So now we can measure because of the ESG.
Thank you, Dato.
In terms of logistics, I think for logistics, we are the supplier to most of the industry. So a lot of industry, we have oil and gas industry, we have the F&B industry, FMCG industry, E&E industry in Malaysia, we are very strong in that. So agriculture industry, so many industry.
Yeah.
Most of the industry needs logistics service.
Yeah.
So therefore, logistics plays a very important role in handling the ESG issue, especially the E side, talking about environmental, because logistics are the one that invest into trucking. This is the trucks that distribute the cargoes for all the industries moving about everywhere and emitting carbon into the environment.
Yeah.
So logistics become one of the main focus when it comes to for manufacturing scope 1 and scope 2. Yeah.
Okay. How come implementing ESG practices in logistics positively impact environmental indicators in the World Competitiveness Year Ranking Report? Your opinion, Dato Seri.
Okay, how can we implement ESG in the logistics to impact the environmental indicator? Yes, of course, we need to focus on net carbon. So at the moment, ESG, a lot of people are asking, so what should we be doing? Because nobody know what to do. So the first thing that the ESG will be looking at will be for the multinational company, when you talk about investing into which country, the first thing that they focus on is the reporting of their carbon emission into the environment. So the carbon emission. So to them, there will be either scope 1 or scope 2 lah. Okay, carbon emission, because we are doing distribution, therefore we need to focus on creating vehicles, moving away from just combustion engine vehicles to electric vehicles, so that we will reduce the carbon emission into the environment. So then logistics actually play a very important role at the moment, because they will measure. Number 2 is warehousing. So we do a lot of warehousing for or we call it third-party logistics for manufacturers. So for this manufacturer, when they come and assess Malaysian logistics environment, they look into 2 factors: the distribution, that means beside distribution, and also the warehousing. So you cannot be using MHE equipment that is using what do you call that, diesel engine anymore. So all this forklift and machine that is inside the warehouse must be electrified already, so that we will be considered green to them, and also more efficient, and also vehicles as well. So we need to change our vehicle from the diesel vehicle to become electric vehicles. And then not on top of that, then the energy that we are using now are using not clean energy, especially in Peninsular Malaysia. Our energy that we use, 20% carbon from coal, 40% from gas, and the rest are renewable energy. So for logistics industry, we have a lot of warehouses. So we have a lot of space for us to create solar panel. So to generate solar energy to be used for our operations as well. So that will make us socially responsible, especially if we are very ESG, and then so that we become very competitive. Because if you use normal energy provided by the government, the cost is a bit high. But if you use solar energy, which is clean energy, the cost will become cheaper. And then a lot of what do you call that, combustion engine in electrical engine are now more high tech. So they are actually also help us in terms of our productivity as well. So therefore, with productivity and focusing on solar and green, then we can actually become more competitive as well. Yeah.
Thank you for your feedback. So next question, in regards to that, Dato Seri, what are some social aspects of ESG that can be integrated into logistics operations?
Okay, a social aspect, like for example, at the moment what we are doing in the logistics industry, the logistics industry depend on foreign workers. Now they need a lot of human capital. And if we depend on foreign worker, Then we import the foreign worker come to Malaysia, they work here. Of course, they may cause some social problem. On top of that, they make money and they also bring back to their own country. So that money doesn't retain in Malaysia, did not go into the ecosystem to generate economic activity in Malaysia. So what we can implement in terms of ESG, I think for us is allowing how to localize the local Malaysian to come into the logistics industry. So one of the programs that implemented by PKT is called Adib Anak Belajar Ibu Bekerja program, where we allow flexi working environment for a housewife. 7:30 they drop their children to school, 8:30 they come to work, 12:30 they go back and pick up the children and they stay at home, and another batch will come at 1:30 and finish at 5:30, depending, and it is flexible. So by doing so, I think we can help the society as well, because the housewife actually have single income, depending on the husband. Now that if they can actually come back and join us in the logistics industry, they can actually help their family as well, because then they will get paid, and they now from single income become double income, So and that is one of the good programs that we can implement in order for us to reduce dependency on foreign workers as well. And the other one is talking about allowing students to come and work as well. We call it the JBSB program, Jom Bekerja Sambil Belajar program, allowing students, because now we are positioning Malaysia to become the next ASEAN hub. And now we are asking a lot of university to come up with logistics graduate, but no chance for them to do internship or work experience. So now Malaysian government is now moving towards the focus on TVET education. TVET education is very good because why? The students are already ready for the industry. But in order for them to be ready to the industry, TVET means you need training in a real working place. So then if the industry work together with the institution, they can actually help to produce a lot of TVET graduate. And this one is called Jom Bekerja Sambil Belajar under our company branding. Otherwise, in the Ministry of Higher Education, we call it Earn As You Learn program. So Earn As You Learn also will create additional income for them and experience for them. By the time they graduate, they are already very good experience in the logistics industry. So I think this way of collaborating between the institution in the industry is very important for Malaysia. If you talk about competitiveness, like you asked, how can we improve the competitiveness? I think we need to produce enough employee for the industry, especially logistician. Don't depend on foreign worker only, because if you depend foreign worker, we have social issue. Then if you give a chance for our employees, students and housewives to work in the logistics industry, that will also help the socially responsible, create new income for them. Their lives will be improved, livelihood will be improved as well. So I think collaborating between institution and the industry to produce the exact number that we need for the industry to grow, then the competitiveness will come in really.
Agree, Dato. Okay. Next question. How does good governance and ethical conduct contribute to enhancing competitiveness in logistics? Dato Seri, your opinion on this?
Yeah, of course, being transparent, and then for me, it's very important because if our country are not deemed to be transparent, therefore the investor also don't want to come in, because there are a lot of uncertainty, So one of the I think issue that already being talked about in every one of the forum is talking about the digitalization of our custom brokerage. Remember when we talk about logistics performance index, one of the weakness in Malaysia on the logistics performance index is also one of the factors is custom brokerage as well. So we need to digitalize that part of the business to make it transparent, so that everyone will work on. If I work really hard, I really can get my custom cleared within like 24 hours and whatnot lah. So, but then even if I work hard, but due to I have no good connection, therefore I cannot clear on time and so forth, that is not good for the country, because that is why the MNC are not happy with that factor lah. That is why we lose out in the competitiveness, especially during our evaluation of logistics performance index. Custom brokerage was one of the issues that we need to tackle. But once we clear that, especially how do we do it with digitalization, no more face-to-face, everything online, everybody can do their job properly. We can actually make sure that we know if the shipment arrive tomorrow, the next day will be clear. That is assurance. That means if I am a customer, manufacturer, I can give a KPI to a logistics company. If my shipment arrives tomorrow, I can receive the cargo on time for me to produce my cargo. All right.
Easily we can monitor.
We can monitor easily. It's just like now you have an apps when you buy your food, right? So it's clearly there's nothing. There's nothing can stop them. So then once is very clear on this direction, everything is online, everything's KPI is set, then the industry will move and become very competitive. So in terms of governance, I would say that was like one of the issues that we think we can discuss and improve. And if we can do that, then Malaysia will become very competitive. Logistics play a very important role. Because if we don't clear on time, we cannot deliver to the factory. Factory cannot plan just in time.
All the delays.
All the delay. Or everything will happen.
Can you provide examples on how technology and innovation align with ESG principles can benefit logistic competitiveness?
We already start doing digitalization long time ago. Digitalization will help in the industry, and also electrification of vehicles. So, and also like things like solar roof that will help us to produce cheap energy, solar energy, clean and also cheaper than our things. So then you talk about automation as well. A lot of automation can be done, and automation will help to reduce number of employees. So you see, the employee is a problem. So if let's say, for example, I am a multinational company, I want to invest in Malaysia as a distribution hub. So I need 1,000 employees. All right. So the government will say, tell the government I cannot find employee. So then we allow them to import foreign worker. So that will be problem, right? So that becomes social issue. So if that, then we have to tackle that with the Adib program, JBSP program, ramp up our students to supply human capital supply to them. If cannot, then we have to ask them to do automation as well. So automation will reduce headcount also, and automation will become like, for example, from 1,000, if you do automation, it become like 300 only. So that is very lean, and then they will with 300 employees, they will be able to pay higher wages. And also in terms of what they call that, higher wages, then the socially then we become better already. So automation plays a very important in the logistics industry that helps the ESG as well.
Okay, thank you, Dato. So, Dato Seri, this is my last question for you. How does ESG in logistics contribute to long-term sustainability and reputation of a company?
Yes, I think earlier on when a company start, we don't have ESG. We do corporate social responsibility. If you want to do business with a multinational company, they are coming from Europe. I think Europe ESG is already in terms of midway already. Over here, we're talking about achieving our ESG goal by year 2050. But in terms of Europe and US, they are talking about 2040. And electrification of vehicles is now reaching 50% ratio of their vehicle, total industry vehicles. 50% are electric vehicles. Malaysia, we are still in the progress that we just open up to achieve maybe 5 or 10% this year, maybe next year 20%, something like that.
Yeah.
So it takes time for us to reach that
yeah.
level.
Yeah.
What do you call that? So when you embark into ESG, that means you are concerned, because if a company only concerned a profit, it doesn't work anymore. So now you have to talk about people and product planning as well. Because the MNC also don't want to come to Malaysia and pay cheap laborer. They don't want to give you cheap salary anymore. Because why? In their country, they have to make this reporting of ESG.
Yeah.
They don't want to be forced labor in Malaysia.
I see.
Forced labor are things like, if you depend on foreign worker, then you will issue about how many people are staying in one room. And then, talking about their working condition, their toilets, all this will become important.
Yeah.
But before that, not important. But now become more and more important already. So in terms of sustainability, because if you are no longer care about environment and social, the multinational company will not appoint you as their service provider. So this is the new phenomena that is happening in the industry at the moment.
Yeah.
I would advise all our Malaysian to remember one thing: no ESG, no MSG. MSG meaning is multinational sales and growth.
Yeah.
You need to embrace social responsibility. People think that ESG costs money. It's not. It's actually, in the long run, you save money.
Yes, correct.
So, but then at the same time, don't forget, you are not talking about money now. You are talking about environment. You need to save the earth as well, and the people. So that's why I say no ESG, no MSG. In the long run, you will actually help your company.
Okay, thank you, Dato. Okay, so we have come towards the end of today's episode. Thank you, Dato Seri, for your time today. So much new knowledge was gained during today's episode. We hope that it can benefit others as well. Once again, thank you very much. Stay safe, stay positive, and stay productive. See you again in another episode of MPC Productivity Talk.